Evening, this is March 18th, our regular meeting at 6 o'clock. If you would all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance behind here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Jerry Lincoln. Logan Johnston.
Beverly Fickus.
Scott McVeigh.
Dale Mancino. Margaret Flynn Tremley.
Thank you. Open time and public comments.
Charles, would you get up and share that information you shared with me? America's Finest, was it? You have that link?
Yeah, I brought it up to the bookkeeper before.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Sandy Winters. We're going to have a Firewise meeting the 26th, 6 o'clock, Community Hall. And we have a speaker coming, Andy Chambers from the fire department. And also, the foundation is having a celebration and board meeting on the 24th at the Community Hall. And as far as I know, it's at 5:30. So they already have a present and a plaque. And I don't know what else the foundation is doing, but we're going to do a little presentation too for the Firewise. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you were wanting him to share something, or he did?
He says he shared it with one of the clerks. I
Yeah,
want to make
so-
sure staff knew about this.
This is Charles Hanson, Mark.
So any veterans that are behind on their utility bills, including the water bill, they can go to Nation's Finest, and they've got a local rating office, and they'll help them, get all their back utilities and maybe paying a little forward too. So I know that there was a bookkeeper who was taking this before we got.
Oh, Emily?
Was it the one taking notes?
Right here?
Okay, she's the administrative assistant. She's just out sick.
Yeah, she's out sick today.
She had it written down.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wanted to make sure you have an opportunity for veterans who may need a little help.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Anyone else open time, public comments? Okay. Before we get to the consent agenda, there are a few minor corrections on the agenda that we need to do. We are going to pull off the consent agenda, though, the P&L report for February. The bookkeeper has been absent, and so a lot of things didn't get put on it accurately. So we are meeting tomorrow, the Finance Committee at 10. So we are going to hopefully have an updated one, but we may not. Also, item number 10 for water rates, we're actually going to move that one up after number 7. So we're going to take that one out of order and bump it to number 7 before we do the other reports. Okay. All right. So consent agenda, we were just talking about the bills paid and the minutes from the finance and the regular meeting and the planning and steering committee. Any discussions on the consent agenda? Any motions on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any comments from the floor in regards to that? I should have asked ahead of time. Okay. All right, regular agenda item, discussion and possible.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Should we have mentioned that Pam is not here tonight? Before we roll call?
Oh, yeah, for roll call. So yeah, Pam, the other board member, has been out with surgery. So she is doing PT right now, and she may show up for the end of the meeting, but not sure. So she won't be walking too well. Okay, regular agenda, discussion and possible action regarding closure of the CAR FIRE account, transfer of funds, and additional reserve accounts. General Manager Dale.
Yes. So the CAR FIRE account was set up for related funds, but the project's complete. We were talking about moving the funds from that account and putting that into a reserve account. And we're looking to, that's all we're looking to do, is to move the funds out of the account. because the state counts,
So do we know how much it is?
it's roughly, I think, 160,000.
No,
No,
that's
no.
what we paid back to JPIA. The CD had some interest of, I think, in the neighborhood of 18,000.
Oh, the leftover, yes, it's
The leftover.
18,000, you're correct. So we're just looking to move it from that account into a reserve account and then close that car fire.
So I guess my question would be, shoot, we had the reserve account thing on here too.
It's here.
to discuss, and that's kind of one of the items. I just wanted to see what the actual balance for the car was, and I have it here somewhere. 17,952.06. Okay,
Close enough to 18.
close enough to 18. Okay. I'm gonna have to talk about the reserve account a little bit. We have
Okay.
that someplace else, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's coming up.
What we found out is that the reserve accounts were not being populated correctly. So some of the amounts are not being taken out of the general fund and populated correctly, or not being populated at all. And so that's one of those things. Do we take this 17,000 and then just apply it to one of our reserve accounts? We have, I guess, the planning and steering met, and they were, the grand jury at some point said that reserve accounts were under the purview of planning and steering. We wondered if it should be finance and not planning and steering, but that's neither here nor there. So we have a lot of reserve accounts, and we can go over what those are. But the question bears, do we increase that? Do we change some of the account numbers? Or in your packet, you do have a reserve policy, and it's listed what those reserve accounts are. So do we hold off on this reserve count of 17,000, almost 18,000, until we figure out what the other reserves are? Or do we go ahead and just move it to the general fund and close it out?
So the money that was not populated correctly will be.
It's there,
Like
in the sweep
it's
account.
it's in the general fund.
Yeah.
But
It's in here.
it will be moved.
Right.
Right,
So
Yes.
we want to wait until it is moved is the question.
Since
Right,
April,
do we-
no monies have been put into those reserve accounts.
April.
Since
25.
April of
Yeah.
25.
Oh.
Right. So we have a number of months. The money's there.
Yeah, the money's
We-
there.
we
it just
have the
needs to
money.
be
It
closed
It
to the
just
right
was
location.
never accounted to the proper account.
so which coincides with Melissa leaving, the accountant, the bookkeeper, and then when I always want to call her Early, when Shireen came in June.
Yep.
And so you're missing all of those accounts were not populated. So we can take estimates, because a lot of it, that may be the best way to do it. So at our finance meeting tomorrow, that was one of the things Scott and I were gonna work on, is to prepare an estimate of what funds we want transferred into what accounts for the whole board for the month of April, if that's acceptable.
So should we, after doing that, maybe make a recommendation at the next board meeting as to what to do with that 17,952?
Right, if that's what,
Okay.
I
That's
believe
what-
that's how you should proceed.
okay. Okay.
All right,
So the action is, do we need a motion to say just hold or
One
not?
part of it, but we still have another part of this item,
Okay,
which is, are we going to create any new accounts?
no, that's not, is that on,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
it's on
yeah,
the
you
bottom.
got it on
Part of
there,
it.
yeah, okay.
So the Appropriate Team Committee met, and we do not have any particular capital improvement accounts. If you look into, well, that would be jumping ahead though, if we go to the reserve account or reserve policy right now. But anyway, there are some vaguenesses in the reserve policy and account naming possibly. So we can either create some new accounts or revise the wording to some of them. Right now, the 4.1% on the water rate is supposed to go into the operations account, but it's a generic operations account.
Mhm.
And in my opinion, it should be designated to operations or reserves for the water treatment plant, since it's a charge there. So I'm wondering if that's something maybe we discuss tomorrow also.
I would like to get a feel
Yes.
from you. Do you think that you can look at what the reserves are here, what we have? Are you looking at maybe just expanding and having more reserve accounts, or expanding the verbiage on some of these accounts that would include other things? Like, so I went back and found a really old financial description prior to 2021, and it had a filter plant savings. And that was one thing that Scott was looking for, was a filter plant for just the filter plant. That we've got the filter plant, what's it called? The filter plant fund, the reserve for the,
Prepayment?
yeah.
Yeah, we
the
have
grant.
that.
Yeah, we've
but
got
that's a
that.
restricted
So
one.
this is a different one that says filter plant savings, but that kind of went by the wayside when we ended up with this new reserve policy. So I kind of would like to kind of get your feel, should we try to expand or just try add that one? Or if you take a look at the reserve policy currently, so it's in your packet somewhere.
Yeah.
This one is called, which is really weird, it's called capital improvement on page 6 of your policy. You have it? Did you find it yet, Terry?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's called capital improvements and modernization reserve, and yet when you look at your balance sheets with the reserves, it calls it expansion and modernization, but it's capital improvements. So do you lump in all of the plant, the distribution, and the administrative offices all in this capital improvement category, or do you want it split out? I just kind of need to know what your guys' thoughts are before we work on something.
My opinion is just keep them all as short as possible, We don't need to add a whole bunch more because we can't get it right now. So why add more where you're gonna screw it up? Once we get a good bookkeeper and get a good handle on everything, then if you want to change it, fine. But I think for right now, change the verbiage in there to add what you want in there.
Okay.
Clarify what the account is for.
Okay. So that's what we'll do then. The finance committee will come back and make a recommendation of things that we want to add into that verbiage. One of the things in this policy, as we were looking at it, it's talking about asset accounts, account number 5005. It doesn't coincide with anything off of our new balance sheet because we changed banks. So that has to be rectified in the policy also. So those reserve numbers aren't accurate anymore. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions from the floor in regards to this reserve policy? You can always come back at 10 o'clock tomorrow if you want to hear more.
So in regard to the prop 215,
218.
218, gosh,
That's
that's
okay.
something totally different.
Yes.
All back in the past. So say we were to add into the new rate study some reservations for these reserve accounts, we would
determine
what the
reserve-
language is that we want to in
Yes.
this, and then
Yes.
add that everything. So
Yeah.
instead of, in lieu of creating new reserve
We will make
accounts.
recommendations to the board, and they can change it, adopt it.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, we good? So do we need a motion to, do we need a motion to let
It is discussion action.
well, we don't have to do
I
any
think that was
action.
if we were just gonna add.
Yeah.
reserve
Yeah.
accounts.
Fair enough.
Okay, so everybody agrees that we're just gonna let the finance committee come up with something and bring it back. Yes, Dennis?
We'd like to just say something general about that, if that's all right.
Which part? The reserves? Okay.
Dennis, Hussein, Yeah, a long time ago, there was all these reserves funded. And then in time, they just started taking dollars out and spending them, and they were gone. I think some of them, when they took all the dollars out, it just went away. But if you have, lots of separate, reserves, then you're gonna be putting a small amount in each one. And I don't think if there's an emergency, there may not be enough in that one account. So I think it's better to have, the standard, general accounting reserves and fund them, and the total plan can be included in one of those. So if there's an emergency, you have the fund right there. And you can fund it.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Dennis.
I guess, and that was one of the things that I read too, was the filter plant. The filter plant fund, which was interesting, was it said it could also be used to fund other projects, the one just for the grant. So I don't know if that's what we really want to do, because that kind of muddies the repayment of the loan with other funds, so.
Right.
Okay, we'll discuss that in the morning.
Beverly,
Yes,
which one of those reserves was to pay back RCAC?
for,
The dump truck?
oh, that's not a reserve.
That's not a reserve. no.
Yeah, that's just a
General
loan. Yeah, general fund. It's costing us about $200, a little less than $200 in interest. Is that what it?
About 174 now, the interest on the
Yeah,
RC for
they-
the.
We talked about possibly just paying that off, because I hate loans. But it keeps getting whittled down, the interest rate, and the money getting spent elsewhere is more important than, having that monthly
What is it,
bill.
about 16 months of payments left?
Yeah, we've got about a year and a half,
15.
yeah,
Yeah, and by then the interest will be like $10 on that last one.
so. That was when I first got here, that was one of the things, that I'd like to just get rid of that darn thing,
So
so.
we do, there was a lot of protesting.
Yeah. Okay, so contributions, number 6, discussion and possible action on district contribution of Centerville's SCADA monitoring costs.
Yeah, just a little background on that. So during the Cloverdale fire, the SCADA to Centerville was lost, and to our treatment plant. Well, we repaired the SCADA and instrumentation to our treatment plant. Centerville is requesting that we pay 75% of an added cost to have them have access to our tank levels, so they could adjust accordingly. And that's for $3,750. So they're asking us to pay 75% while they pay 25% for the SCADA tie-in. So we're just looking for action on that, if we're gonna do that.
Right, if, with your permission.
Right here.
Is that the Cloverdale fire or the Carr fire?
I was told that it was the Cloverdale fire, but that was from Chris from Centerville, and I was not here at the time.
It
So
might have been the Clover fire.
Clover.
Okay,
Yeah.
Clover fire.
Yeah,
So I would, at the last ad hoc for Centerville,
Mhm.
I asked if that was something that GPIA should have been covering.
Yeah,
So I was curious as to whether the insurance was gonna be able to cover that cost, since it was damaged during a fire.
yeah, and I couldn't get anything on that as far as if they were gonna cover it or not, and they didn't in the past. There's no files or anything on that.
so they probably never filed for
Yeah.
Wasn't there a cost that did get covered, 20,000 for rebuilding our portion of it? And then there was needing an additional 5,000 to cover for them to be able to read it, and we were gonna pay 3750 of that.
Well,
So I'm wondering if there was an insurance settlement that covered that.
that's the thing, is I don't think, I couldn't find anything on it. Emily, myself, and Shireen looked into it, and we couldn't get any information on it being covered by insurance, JPIA.
I don't remember approving any invoices for the SCADA at the water treatment plant, other than stuff in the treatment plant itself.
I think there's one coming in. And that there was a bill, but I pulled it because it was this. It was our portion of it, and it correlated to this guy, tying for them.
Okay,
Was that
We'll
the?
discuss that at the finance meeting.
Yeah,
and so then if there was a portion for us to rebuild
Yes.
basic equipment, then Centerville should have paid their portion of that also.
And I think they did. This is additional costs so that they have access to be able to
Right.
see our information and tank levels on their SCADA, which was not there before.
I thought we were told at that meeting that it had been there before the fire.
And that's where I'm not
Now we're supposed to
100%.
be supposedly restoring it. But that would be good to know. If this is something new they
I
want,
think-
then why are we paying 75%?
Yeah, I
for
think,
so there is a pace.
so
report.
it does say it was previously operational,
that? Okay,
Yeah,
so they did have it.
and there's a pace report, and I saw it, I thought I had it, and I don't. And it was talking about that, because Chris was inquiring why it got left out. So it
Right.
was.
Yes.
It was in the
It's
first
right
original
here.
plan,
okay.
and then got left out.
Mhm.
So,
So I think we were gonna look into the JPIA, which I had no success on. And then, that's where we're at now, is if we're gonna pay that portion or not.
Okay. And the original rebuilding of the SCADA equipment,
Mhm.
was that coming in around 20,000?
I think it's 25.
25. So you're looking at 30,000 and,
I thought some of it was a grant.
I think that our portion, that was covered, but it wouldn't cover the
Right.
center bills.
all right.
I think
That's
that's
good
what the
information.
deal is.
Okay.
So they're asking us to pay our portion so that they have access and they can see all the stuff they had beforehand.
Well, what do you gentlemen think about that?
Just sounds kind of funny, they want access, we have to pay 75%. You know, I would think, they want access.
Yes,
Let them pay it. No,
well, and
I
that's
don't know
what
what it does for us.
It doesn't do anything for us.
No.
It makes them whole in a sense, because
Yes.
it was damaged by the fire. It had functioned for them prior to it, so they're asking that to be returned to that situation.
And that was one thing Chris did point out to me in the contract, because I said, nowhere in this darn contract does it say 25%. And there was some verbiage in there that he said, it says this, and I went, okay, I'll buy into that then, so that their portion is the 25%. Your statement is exactly my feelings, but what he just said also is, we're giving them what they had previous.
Yeah,
And so are we in good faith doing, working with Centerville? So,
Or should they be covering the cost of their own equipment out there? That's why
That's where we're
paid
at.
the big money
Yeah.
to decide.
now, just from technical standpoint, it won't benefit us at all, but it will benefit them and it would be in good faith.
Yeah, keep the relationship good,
Yeah,
so,
and we do have a good relationship.
yeah.
thoughts?
I don't like it. I know I don't
It leaves
like
a bitter taste.
It does leave a bitter taste, but things are going well there, so I
It
think
is.
a gesture of good faith that I can support. And I like the fact that we can point to them actually knowing what tank levels are now. So
True.
there's no
True.
mystery any longer.
Well, and then that way, if they can see it, then they can't be pulling more than they should be pulling too, right? So
Right.
that's
Right,
the, that's
there's
the win.
accountability.
Yeah,
That's
there's,
what we get.
okay.
Well, there is that benefit, yes.
Any comments from the floor?
They didn't vote on this project May 7th, 1963. We own the distribution system. They just pay into it for the usage.
The treatment plant, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we
We
have
didn't
a,
have a treatment plant back then. We had a little bit of a station right at the base of the dam.
Chlorination.
We did a little bit of chlorine.
Mm-hmm.
It smelled at
select
midnight.
We entered into a contract with them though, or
Yeah,
whatever.
200 some odd thousand a year, but, I don't think where they have a position to make any demands.
They're not making a demand.
No.
They're not
It's a
making a demand.
request.
Yeah, it's a request. It's a request.
So I spoke to 2 previous operators that worked here, and they said it was never operational. It was in talks, it started, but it was never operational, because there's no benefit for us or really them.
So how do we find out if that's the case? I mean, I don't
I,
deny their accuracy, but, you know,
I
the
have
word
to-
of somebody versus where it says on paper document that,
But is it a good benefit for us, for them to be able to see it? And then they can't do what they have done in the past and pull water when they shouldn't have?
I can't speak from experience on that. I don't know if they've done that or not since I've been here. I haven't had any problems with that. I don't know if it's happened in the
It's
past.
not a storage tank, it's a control tank.
yeah.
Right.
So depending on the set level, controls the treatment plant filters.
It adjusts so how much our plant, it turns it on and off essentially.
And if it drops below that level, alarms come on or anything?
So it would give them more accountability, with that. But to us, it's not like I can see there, I couldn't see it. Not that I'm aware of unless Brandon, they set it up that way, but I don't think so.
Maybe we should have had Brandon here to give us an idea, his thoughts. I don't know, gentlemen.
When do they need the decision on it?
Pretty quick.
Pretty quick, but I don't know.
He's been asking
yeah.
since October. He's actually been asking about it. And this is the first time it's come to the board about it. So it's been out there. I mean, it's 5,000. If we wait a few more months, it might be more based on everything. I don't know.
Do you
I mean, it's
want
37.
more time to think about it, or?
I don't know
Well,
that
have
thinking gonna change
you
it.
had a discussion with Brandon at all about it?
Not really about as far as, because like I said, I don't think it's gonna do anything for us as far as, operationally.
So what is the benefit then to Centerville? What do they get out of it?
They essentially won't have to call us and ask and those type of things. They'll be able to see the levels of the tank and then, oh, well, I can pull some water now, or no, I can't. But even then, that's, in good faith.
So when they pull water, I know in the past, they've pulled water when they shouldn't have.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we've been told. So if that's true, could they pull water and look and say, oh, I can pull water and they shouldn't be pulling water? Is it a double-edged sword?
Right, they could essentially still do it, but there would be more accountability. They'd say, well, you saw the levels, so it told you not to do it at this point, 15 feet or whatever it is. And they could, but there's no way to regulate that.
Except it's in the contract that they can't do it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
if
you're
you
violating the
add
contract.
some verbiage and whatnot, yes.
I don't know, I think I maybe have like stupid questions, because I'm associating this situation, I've done plumbing repairs on my toilet, and I'm thinking it's like a float ball, where it like goes down when it hits a certain level, it rises up, and then when it hits the next level, it's like, okay, we're gonna start filling.
Yeah, there's
Just
set
fill the
points.
process. So, it's never gonna go completely empty though, like, it's set that it's gonna be at a certain level, and it's just automatically gonna start filling back in, right? Like,
Right,
so then what's it matter if they see what level it's at, because the water's gonna fill in and we still have the meter situation that we know how much water they're pulling. So if say it's 18 feet lift head situation,
right,
it drops down to 12 and 12 is the point where it starts filling back in to rise back up to 18. It's never gonna go below 12 because that's where the set is.
that, it also
Back.
depends on the demand though.
Okay.
So the demand of the water, if we're churning the treatment plant at 80% capacity, and then they're like, hey, we need a ton of water, it could drop it way low and hit alarm levels. But yeah, you're right in that sense. So that also comes back to the things being said about them pulling water when they shouldn't and those type of things, I don't know how big of effect that would have had, because it hasn't happened since I've been here.
And how often does a situation like that, I mean, obviously we have fires in our area.
Right.
We've had plenty of fires out in the Keswick area, we've had plenty of, we've had lots of fires where there's mass pull of water.
Sure.
But those are the one-off fluke situations
Right.
where you're going to have a mass pull. So one of those situations, it's just gonna be what it is, and they're not gonna have the 2 seconds to either call over to us and say, hey, is it okay if I pull water? No, you're gonna pull down water.
I guess
I'm gonna go look at, the data on my tablet to verify, like, where the level is, because I'm not gonna go below this point to say, okay, well, we can't jeopardize the filtration plant and the levels. We have homes that we need to save, so it's F that situation, let's save these homes. So, I mean, it's,
So
What's the why?
instead of fire, let's take, for example, there was one time we had to shut the plant down for a day, and they were notified. And lo and behold, they pulled water anyways, is what we were told, okay? So that was because we could see them pulling water, or alarms went off, or?
That's the thing. I don't know. I wasn't here, but potentially that could have been the issue. Yeah, there were so many feet, say whatever it is, 10 feet, and we have alarm level set at 7 feet, and that should have been stagnant. And they pulled it. We hit the alarms, and hey, you're pulling water. No, we're
but
not.
see, in that aspect, then at that point, it's on them. They were notified, told, hey, you can't, we are shut down.
But they're-
Okay, so then how about when we renegotiate that contract, when we go meet with them on the 13th, that we ask for something to be in there, that that there is a penalty for violating the drop.
Yeah, you could do something like that, and that's the thing, is I don't know when that happened or how often, but since I've been here since September, we haven't had one issue. And now granted, I haven't been at peak demand, but I'm just going off what I know, so.
Okay,
Part of it for me is the mixed message. On the one hand, the general manager at Centerville says, yes, it was working beforehand, but I'm hearing also that no, it never worked,
yeah.
or it was only talked about.
Sure.
So, and I'm not saying he's pulling in any nefarious, but he may be saying, let's see if we can't sneak in and have them pay for 3/4 of it, because we've wanted it for years. I
Well,
don't know what the case is.
it was in the original proposal. It was in the original proposal
To
that
be
went
done.
to be done from PACE. It was there,
Okay.
and then all of a sudden it disappeared.
So somebody made a decision not to do it. Okay,
Why?
maybe they didn't want to pay for the whole thing, I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't.
So,
If it was in the original proposal that PACE got, and this was part of a SCADA grant,
Yes.
right? So if it was originally part of that, Chris couldn't get an answer from PACE. Why was it taken out? Because why was it not left in the proposal?
in the grant.
Right, in
Was
the,
the original
covered it.
proposal done? Was the original one drawn up?
I don't have it in front of me, I don't know.
I don't know the exact date.
Guesstimation year, was it like 20 years ago?
2025, I'm assuming?
No, it couldn't have
No.
been 2025.
No, that's too recent.
Yeah,
Was it after the car fire?
yeah, I was thinking 20.
Oh, right.
I was thinking 21, or 8, well, the Clover fire was like an 18, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
And
we're
then,
seeing, 18.
and then the car fire was in,
Was
Yeah.
18, I thought.
okay,
18.
one of those. I don't have the dates in front of those.
So
That,
give or take, it's been like almost a decade since.
I would say a good 5 years since when that PACE SCADA report came in. I don't have that document. I looked for it. I don't have it with
So
me.
but even if we go in the last 5 years, and if he's saying that the last 2 people that were up there said it hasn't worked, you can roughly say in the last 5 to 10 years that it didn't work, which is pre-fire, that it didn't work. Right? And they're saying it got damaged because of the fire, which yeah, it probably did get damaged due to the fire, but if it never worked in the first place,
That fire might have been 2016, so you're right, could have been 10 years.
you know.
But you said 2 people there. Has it been we don't have any employees that.
The one I talked to was there 20 years ago.
Oh,
Okay, so there you go, going back 20 years ago, it wasn't working, so then when the fire.
It wasn't working, or it actually wasn't hooked up for them to be able to view it.
It was never done.
So
But
there was
even
never-
so, we can't verify that.
Right.
It's just-
And that's our conundrum.
And there's no way to track that paperwork.
Yeah.
why is this?
So- Yes, Dennis?
To me, having them just make a telephone call is less expensive than buying it.
That's true.
Oh.
True.
Yeah. A 5-minute call saying, hey, versus, because there's somebody working 24 hours for that situation, either on call or a night shift duty, so there's somebody always going to be answering to say, hey, can we make this draw? So that would be a cheaper, I mean, even if we're paying overtime on that employee, that's still, once or twice a year on overtime of a 5-minute phone call or 20-minute phone call versus.
Write that in the contract.
Showing,
What's your recommendation, Dale?
I think it's good faith, and
To maintain
But
a
I
good
think-
working relationship?
it'd be a good working relationship. We have a good working relationship. I'd like to see that continue. Now, do I think it's worth the amount of money? It's kind of peace of mind for them, but I don't know. I think we should do it due to the communication and working relationship we have with Centerville, and to continue it. I think that it's a small fee for a guarantee.
Under
Yeah,
the
if
circumstances.
the contract was done, then we'd have, we wouldn't need to work with them that much. And, with you guys working on that contract right now, that's, you can bring that up and say, hey, we paid 75% of this thing, so we want something back, so.
Just as an alternate choice, and I don't care if you choose it or not, we could propose 50-50 on it.
It's a good option.
And our 50% doesn't help us at all.
Yeah, I would say, are we here for relationships?
But the 75% helps us, doesn't help us either,
No.
Yeah,
so.
so if we're gonna pay 50, that's really good faith, because that 50% doesn't help us.
what about putting it, if we're in contract negotiations with them in regards to our giving them the water and stuff like that, why not wrap it? Why don't we front the loan, front the money, and then over the next 5 years of the contract, they pay the difference? I know, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That just makes it difficult and harder to
Yes.
manage when you're charging them monthly
So
for their water, so,
approve it,
okay?
but in the contract, per incident that they cause, not due to emergency,
There's a fine.
is a fine
A penalty.
of $937.50. Over the course of 4 fine periods,
You
we recoup
recapture
our
it.
money.
Okay,
That's if they have 4 fines. I don't know. And they
Well,
might
why not
agree with
round it out to
but
an even
I would
thousand?
say I would support paying for it in good faith. In theory, this prevents that from happening. But if it does, there's a
They're paying back.
penalty to return the funds to us. that we're
Can I
giving them.
suggest we round it to an even thousand then?
I like it because it's symbolic, but
Well,
that's
I don't necessarily want them to see the symbolism.
fair enough.
So there could be a.
is that a motion? So but is it contingent, if we approve it, contingent upon that being put into the contract, and they don't agree with that being put into the contract,
Yeah, then.
then
we-
it's null and void?
Yeah.
Okay? And then they have to reimburse us the whole thing,
That seems fair.
okay? Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
It is it? Can you read
I
that
can
back to me so I
can
understand
rehash
it?
that. I can rehash that. Let's see here. I move that the Clear Creek CSD provide the 75% funding to Centerville CSD for restoration of their SCADA system contingent upon the placement of a $937.50 fine in the new contract between Clear Creek and Centerville.
If
If they violate, or what is this event? Pause. If they trigger the alarm system. Okay.
and the
Overdrawn.
Should
money,
they overdraw?
Overdrawing.
the money is actually going to PACE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
okay. Do I have a second to that motion?
Sorry, that was sloppy. We'll get better, Mark.
Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Bitter pill.
Okay, 4-0. I know. Okay, temporary bookkeeper accountant hire through O2 staffing agency, discussion action. We may not have to have any action, but
Yeah.
what's going on here?
Just a little background. Our current bookkeeper is out on medical. She's going to be out for some time, so we want to hire a temp to assist with bookkeeping and accounting. We want to go through O2 staffing agency to help us find a temp. I will be interviewing them, and then for approval, they'll come on full-time shouldn't say full-time, temporary until our bookkeeper comes back or we decide to fill the position if need be. So I'm looking for discussion.
So you have a couple of candidates now?
Yes, I have, since talking to O2 staffing, I have 2 candidates. I am going to interview one of them on Friday. They have 19 years of bookkeeping experience, and they're proficient in QuickBooks, which is what we use, and that's mainly what we need, somebody to be proficient in QuickBooks.
Did you reach out to any of the other temp agencies, Rush Personnel, or anybody else?
No, I did not, but I did reach out to a couple of other people that somebody recommended from Centerville. They could only help maybe 1 hour a week, so that wouldn't be enough for us. So I decided to go with O2. I was actually recommended O2 by Chris from Centerville and other people as well, so I heard they're good.
So do we really need to take action on this?
I don't know. See, I was just thinking that we did with Paul when he hired,
A temp?
He hired a temp. What did he hire a temp for? I don't even remember. So I was thinking that we approved.
Distribution.
Or,
Distribution supervisor. We had that temp through water talent in
Yeah.
distribution.
So I was thinking that we approved that, but I don't remember. So that's why it was here. So we can approve it, give him authority to follow through with that. Even if it's not necessary, at least we've done it and
Yeah.
he's good
I
to
don't
go.
believe it's necessary because it's part of his job to fill in with temporary people to keep, the operation running.
Well, it's a lot more money per hour.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
it's a markup of 40% to the temp agency, but then if
28.
we ended up hiring this person, they would be at our rate and we wouldn't be paying the 40%.
What's your pleasure?
I think it's in the scope.
Okay,
It's
Okay.
necessary.
so we'll all agree it's in your scope, so no action taken, it's just in your purview.
Okay.
Any questions on that from anybody? Yes, Sandy?
Didn't we lose a couple of really good ones to Bella Vista?
We did.
what I
We
hear.
did.
Was it Christie? Melissa was doing a pretty good job too.
Okay, so we're gonna go to water rates and
Yes.
charges. So this was interesting. So Scott and I had a good discussion in regards to all of these rates. If you don't have the 2021 rate increase, the Prop 218 rate increase that was done, so if those of you that have been here a while, they used RCAC and it was astronomical. And then we had our own ad hoc committee in 2021 put together a rate study. And once Scott had said, hey, we're gonna raise the rates based on what the 26 rates are, that prompted me to go back and really read this. This actually has a lot of errors in it, once you.
And we're fixing them.
So when you go through here and you go, oh my goodness, we didn't do this right, we didn't do that right. When you look at the 2025 rates versus the 26 rates for just the water itself, it only increased per 100 cubic feet less than a penny. So that was my concern, is do we even bother? Or if you take a look at what this says in here, it says you can only do it for 5 years. You can only raise your rates for 5 years with your Prop 218, and we already are at year 5. So I don't think that we could do it anyways.
Except we did this annually every year at the beginning of the water year, and we have the charts to show that. For the 21-22, the 22-23 water years, where we took the Bureau's cost for the water, and then the cost to treat the water and get it into the distribution center, plus the 4.1%. But we never did enact or charge in there the 1.9 that Prop 218 said we were supposed to. So there were things that were missed all around. And I'm conflicted between, because there are rates and there are fees, okay? A fee has one definition, a rate has another one, okay? And it was always called a water rate. And then, and unfortunately, we call our monthly fee a base rate, which is really more of a fee attached to property. It's a property-related fee, whereas this adjusts annually based on the utilities, including the PG&E and the phone and the chemicals and whatnot. And we know that most of those steadily rise. So we have been looking at, based off of the budget to actual year prior, and calculating in what those costs were
For
per
just,
acre foot, and then divide by the 435, so you got a per HCF. And then we added those up and added the Bureau's cost per HCF and 2 or 3 cents for the 4.1, and that came up with the water rates for M&I and for irrigation. And that's how we've been doing it for a number of years, annually. And
Well-
we may have been doing it wrong. I'm not saying we did it right, but that's what we have been doing.
the other thing is too, is we had that drought year, and the rates went up to $1.05, then they went down to 90, and then they went down to 70, and then we went down to 50. So I think in my mind, I'm thinking, no, we didn't do this every year to increase it. And yet it talks about in the Prop 218 law that you have to have a certain formula for doing this pass-through or this 5 years. Every time the Bureau of Reclamation increases our costs for our water. So if they do, it's only good for 5 years. You can only do it for 5 years, and you have to have a formula. Well, the formula in the Prop 218 document says to be determined.
Yes.
So how is that a formula? So do you do it by a percentage? Do you do it by an amount? Or how do you determine? Because if we fall under another drought, the Bureau could come back and say, because we had one year that it was like, what, $70 for an acre foot?
73 something.
You know, where we're paying 40 now or 43 an acre foot. So
But the same thing to tag on with that, if I can, if we bought water, which we have from McConnell, it's $250 an acre foot. We bought water from the city of Reading at $473 or $77 an acre foot. And if we don't make the adjustments, we're
That's
not
different.
collecting the $200,000 or $300,000
that's different. That's a drought. That's a drought year,
in
and
the
that's
drought policy, you're saying.
correct.
Okay.
That's handled in the
Fair
drought
enough.
policy. But again, I think one of the thought processes is some districts do a Prop 218 every year.
Mhm.
Every year they'll do a 45-day, and they do it probably after the water year. This
Right.
comes out March 1st, the water rates. So that's something that the Prop 218 committee will have to look at. Do we do that? You know, do we make it for 2 years or 1 year and just automatically do it every year right after this, so we know what the rates will end up being? I don't know. So that's something the committee will come up with.
Yes.
But the question being now, do we move forward with these? What I didn't like is that we get the water rate from the Bureau, but then what you're doing is you collectively, us, us, what we're doing, if this is true, is that we're recalculating all of the expenses to put into the water rate, and that's wrong. The pass-through was only for what the bureau costs were, not all of this other malarkey.
I understand your point. My concern was if we did not have a factor to adjust for spikes in chemicals, which happened one year, or utilities, the PG&E. We know that the AT&T bill now is about $473 a month, and that we're gonna have a project to replace it because they're no longer supporting stuff out there. So there's a challenge there also. And those are anomalies that pop up. We know that your utility rates, whether they be the phone, the computer stuff, or, the electricity is always going up a little bit.
But
The
see,
cost of
that's-
chemicals goes up.
But that's not the Prop 218, just a second, Charles. The Prop 218 very specifically talks about multi-years and the pass-through of just the water increase.
Right, just the water.
Just the
Correct.
water, not all of this other stuff. So I think that's what we were doing that was being done wrong. Yes, Charles?
So operational fees and water fees are two different things, right? And our base rate, maybe that's what should be adjusted for the operational fees, not our usage fees. So maybe the base rate should be bumped from time to time, every 5 years.
Right, well, correct, it will be, they'll renegotiate that. However, in Prop 218, it says the water rates can be, it's not just based on your water though, it is based upon your labor, it's based upon
The
your
cost to get
chemicals, all
cubic meter.
your electricity, all of that out of the plant contributes to the water cost. But you can't do that every year. You could only do the pass-through of just the water,
Right.
not all the other. That's why there was a 1.9% increase every year to take place of inflation.
But we never collected it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we determined that based upon these formulas that Paul had worked on, the 1.9%
Which is in the Prop 218.
was not affected with was not there.
It
Yes.
used to be every time I brought up the filtration plant fee, they'd always say that was for the increased cost of chemicals for the filtration plant. We didn't have a filtration plant at first, and after the distribution system was completed. Resolution 1995-5 stated that you had to review the unpaid balance of the filtration plant in a holding tank, the water tank, the 4 million gallon water tank, every so many years, and the unpaid balance adjusted accordingly. It's only been done 3 times since 1995.
Yeah, there was one thing that I saw that it was 794, then it dropped, and then I think they dropped it to the 755.
Well, when it first started, it was a feasibility study fee to see if we could put in a filtration plant. So the board was not quite sure if there was any way we could do something like that.
So I think there's only a few more years left on the filter plant,
So
so,
it's supposed to be paid off a long time ago.
well, they
It's a
didn't,
30-year loan
Yeah, but
through North
Betty Morgan,
Carolina.
bless her heart, this is in her memory. She did a lot of work on the finance committee when she was a loan officer at Wells Fargo and really smart. She amortized our original indebtedness, which was $1,029,000. And found out we had overpaid our interest at $44,000.
yeah.
Took her a whole weekend to amortize that loan.
Wow.
And then she went on to the filter plant. But unfortunately, there were circumstances that forced her out. And then she handed over all her papers and work that she had done to me. I still have it in files.
So, so my question to the board is, do we, even though this is full of errors,
Prop 218.
the Prop 218, do we use it and say the 5 years is up and we don't increase it? Do we look at what the increase would be, less than a penny, and say, wait until we do the Prop 218 and do the rates?
I'm agreeable with that because I think we need to correct the Prop 218 rationale And you have a valid point as far as pass-through being just water, okay? And if we switch from the 5-year to a 2 or a 1 year up to 18, we will be more accurate in, what the costs are. Yes, we'll get hit periodically by a spike in, chlorine or something. But if we start collecting the 1.9%, which is the consumer price index or inflationary thing, then that will cover it. The 4.1 is actually supposed to be going into a reserve account on the water rate. So I think we can probably leave it.
You wanna make a motion that we take no action, or?
I think that would be just fine. I move that we allow the current water rates to proceed.
Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carried. All right, we are going to our general manager's report and operations oral report. I wanna text Pam though and tell her 10 minutes, is that what?
I'm gonna need a couple.
For my, yeah, for the
Are we going to
Yeah.
go into closed session before the standing committee reports?
No, we're gonna have that. So you think 20 minutes would be good for her?
Well,
So your the battery must be dead.
Yeah, we
That's something to do.
we just replaced them, the battery.
Oh, well, I don't know what's going on with that clock. Okay, so I'll tell, what time is it? It's almost 7? I'll tell her 7:20, okay?
57.
All right,
yeah, 7:15.
okay, all right, I'll tell her. Comment, all right, go right ahead.
All right, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. Operations update. Everything's been running smoothly and dependably. No major breaks. Everything's holding up well. Staff is working great. The things at the treatment plant are going well. There was one minor issue with one of the actuators, but we're getting that taken care of. I'm working with our grant writer to work on grants and funding. We're currently going after a SCADA/IT/cybersecurity grant. It's upwards of $250,000 if we're awarded. I haven't heard back from that. Financially and administratively, as I said earlier, a bookkeeper is out, so we're looking for a temporary to help with that. We're trying to get everything squared away. Administratively, things are going well. And that's it mainly for operations, grants, funding, and financial. I'm gonna move on to the operations report, unless anybody has any questions. No? Okay. Our aging accounts, we had +3 accounts for the 121 days. So that went up a little bit. The 90 to 120 days went down 14 accounts, so that's good. 60 to 90 days, we added 36 accounts. 30 to 60 days, -2 accounts, so we're getting there. Treatment plant operations, water treatment plant produced 131.11 acre feet of surface water. We use 94.42 acre feet. 0 well water and acre feet for the water year 25-26 is 2,840. Speaking with treatment plant operations, Brandon is up there running the plant currently. They've been busy with routine maintenance monitoring. We're currently producing 2 million gallons a day. Replaced a solenoid on train 6, influent valve and tested. That's all working properly. Pace added trending for Centerville's flows, which include instantaneous daily and monthly flow totals. And they replaced a shutoff valve. Switch over to pond number 2 for backwash cycles. Moving on to district operations. Water quality sampling, the repair on Monte Vista Road was repaired and replaced. Greenleaf Lane, service line replacement. We've been doing hydrant and valve identification and exercising, staff training and certification. We went through flagger certification and monthly JPIA training. And that's mainly it.
I just have one question
Sure.
on the ponds.
Yeah.
Which pond is the one that is not lined?
Pond 1.
Well, at the
Okay.
bottom.
And we're not lining that one currently. That one's unlined. That's the only one.
So is it the process now with them being lined supposed to be a lot easier in cleaning out the
Yes.
sludge? Okay.
And I was up there with Pace, was that yesterday I went up there? Yesterday with Brandon, and we did a site walk. One of them was already drying, number 3. And we got a new attachment for the skid steer that's gonna help tremendously with getting that sludge
Brush
out
of
there.
some sort or
Yes.
something.
Yep.
Okay.
How's the reconciliation for closing out this grant? What was it, 6.4 million or something?
6.4, 6.8.
6.8, that's right,
Yes.
it grew some. So I know we had a few invoices that were still need to be paid, and I think Pace had one coming in.
Yeah, and then I just signed 2 reimbursements
Okay.
for $342,000, which I'll be presenting to the finance committee.
And where are we then with the state reimbursing us?
That's what's
That's the 300?
yeah, 347,000, and then I'm not sure what the other one was. I haven't
Okay.
signed that one yet.
Do you know what the loan balance through RCAC is on?
I currently do not.
Because I know it wasn't getting paid, we were only paying interest when we could have.
Yeah, then we made
Paying
a
principal down.
$1 million payment, and then we're making another 500,000, and then another 500,000, and then we were discussing that in the finance committee if we wanted to pay a lump sum or do the 500,000.
We can maybe bring that up
Tomorrow, yeah.
also with that. Was there something else? Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions in regards to reports? Okay, we'll move on to standing committees and ad hoc committee reports. Ad committee?
We didn't meet last month, but we do have a meeting later this month. It's a community meeting.
26th
Yes.
for the farmer's market.
Yep, so.
Sorry, Sandy. Can't go to Fireways. I have a farmer's market meeting here.
Well, we're starting at 6. What time do you start?
6.
6.
6:30. What is?
I'm not sure.
Oh, we're 6:30, aren't we?
I don't know.
Let me see.
Yeah, you put 6:30.
6 PM. The ad hoc is between 6:30.
Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
I saw the ag meeting on Wednesday prior.
For what?
He's saying it's the
in
25th.
newsletter.
For
I
which
have
one?
it on the 25th as well.
Then my calendar's wrong.
25th, right, Dennis? Yeah, I believe
Then I
there's,
can be there, Sandy.
Okay.
So,
I think we flip-flopped on that date, and that's the reason for the confusion.
Right.
We'll have lots of fun.
well, I better fix my calendar, otherwise I'm gonna be a day late.
Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a community meeting. I've already been reaching out to the vendors to gather and discuss, are we staying in the same place? When are we gonna start? Are there any changes they wanna make, etc. Whether Firewise wants to have a free booth again periodically, they can decide.
Okay. Finance committee?
Well, we've got the meeting tomorrow. Will there be a chance no, Emily's out. I was gonna say maybe
I think
the
so.
corrections to the February P&L.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that.
It's all the revenues that we're missing. I think there was a couple of minus expenses, and usually expenses aren't minus.
Planning and steering committee?
In the packet, we had the minutes from the 28th meeting. Our next meeting will be March 31st at 1 p.m. Okay, and at the 28th meeting, Jim Watley was there to do a presentation. He's beginning to work on like part of a 5-year master plan on the needs of the district and prioritizing things, whether it's a valve replacement or a massive pressure reducer or whatnot, which should help extend the life of the system. It should reduce some of the breaks, some of the water hammer. But we've got to figure out what we can do, what the costs are, and he'll be reporting back on the 31st about, a little more information to help us make some decisions that we can then bring to the board for final approval, because not all of it's going to be covered by grants, and we're going to have to figure out either through the Prop 218 or some fashion how we're going to fund some of the work. So again, that's March 31st at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. It's an open meeting. You can come in and listen. You can ask questions, but you can't yell at us.
Personnel Committee, Pam and I haven't met in a few months, so once she gets back up on her feet or feeling much better, we'll get back to trying to work on a few things. As far as the Centerville Contract Ad Hoc Committee, we did not meet in March. We should have met last Monday, and the GM from Centerville asked that we push it back, so it'll be April 13th, I believe, is the Centerville next Ad Hoc Committee. So I'm hoping the delay was so that they were working on some stuff, so, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Prop 218 Advisory Committee.
Right, we'll be meeting on April 1st, the day after the planning and steering, so we'll get some updates from Jim Watley and then take that into the Prop 218. There have been some assignments by the committee members, and I'm hoping they have those done and we can discuss those things. I need some information from you for my piece. And then we have to discuss recommendations that we'll make to the board on, do we want to maybe change some of the verbiage in some of the reserve accounts? Do we want to create something specific, like possibly capital improvement designated for the water treatment, one designated for distribution? One of the things we discussed was, do we create one for the administrative building or group of buildings here? Because if it needs a new roof and it runs $28,000, $30,000, it won't be in the budget. So a small amount added monthly over the course of a number of years would cover that without any harm really to the customers themselves. We would be able to gradually fund capital improvements.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah, well, Scott, I mean, the proposition in general, you look at the financial statement.
Right.
It includes the capital plan, improvement plan.
Mm-hmm.
And the finances, we aren't like appointing and steering where we decide.
No, we make recommendations to the planning and steering, who make recommendations to the board. Kind of.
We need to just look at financial statements and figure out what we need.
I agree.
So one thing that, in rereading this reserve policy, I went, well, wait a minute. So we had tried to fund the plant, $300,000 for that train to be fixed.
Yeah.
And we had tried to set aside money for that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, I went, well, what happens to that money now? Where's that $300,000? We probably spent some of it with expenses, but it was like, where does that go? It just kind of disappears. And I guess Brandon has asked the same question for this year, because I'm not spending all of this money. Where does it go? Well, under the operational reserves, it says this reserve can also hold the year-end fund balance for excess funds from an operational year.
Right.
And it's like, we're not doing that. We're not putting that in the operational reserve. So my 200,000 should have gone directly into that. And it didn't,
Right.
you know?
And those are the things we're trying to work on.
Yeah, get
And
fixed.
part of Prop 218 will be identifying some of that, for the needs of the district, as far as if we have to put in an expensive pressure reducer or replace a few of the isolation valves. We're not gonna get grant money for that right now.
Yeah, we don't qualify.
And we can either figure out a way to self-fund some of these repairs and minimize the downtime for the customers, or minimize the number of customers affected, because that's what we're trying to do. We have this really old infrastructure. And sometimes it feels like it's baling wire and duct tape holding it together.
So I think if we would just follow the policy, we would have money set aside in here and it would look,
Right.
it would look
I
good,
agree.
you know, so that's what we have to do. And we're gonna work on that one thing that we're working on tomorrow will be
Yep.
getting those mounts put in the proper reserve account.
The only other thing that Prop 218 is working on is to make sure that we're very transparent.
Yes.
The last Prop 218, they kind of said, here's the rate rationale, go ahead and read it. I want people to see what it's cost over the last few years in each of these line items on our budget actuals. So we have administrator, but the categories under administrator, you know, the regulatory fees, all the insurances, the fuel cost changes, the labor changes and whatnot. I know, Dennis, you're working on some of that because we have an MOU coming up at the end of the year and we have to put into the Prop 218 an adjustment or make a recommendation to the board of an adjustment to help cover that so that we are not deficit spending.
Well, Paul padded the budget so well with personnel costs that I
I don't disagree with you,
don't think we'll be deficit there,
but we have to take a look at it.
right, absolutely correct.
Okay. And that was another reason that we've been discussing doing the Prop 218 every 2 years instead of every 5, so we can be more proactive in adjusting rates. And any adjustments can be smaller.
Okay, moving on to board items. Director Terry,
Nothing.
Director Logan, Director Scott.
No, I think I covered everything I wanted to.
Okay. So we are going to go to a closed session. It is personnel matters and falls under Government Code 54957B and 54957.6. And the board will meet in closed session for an update on personnel. So I doubt if we have any action or direction, reportables for the meeting, so you can all go if you so desire. I don't know where Caitlin is, she's probably taking a nap, but we will get her to turn off her recordings. So we are convening to a closed session at 7:13.
Chad.
She's supposed to be, yeah.
See you, Dennis, thank you.
Do I hit just stop and then hit record again?
Have a good rest of your week.
Yeah, hit stop.
Okay.
And shit.
Okay. Oh, it kind of looked like, I should have, was there a pause?
To press pause, I think you press the OK.
Oh, so I hit stop.
Do we have to record the closed session?
No.
No.
Okay,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no.
no. That's
It does not get published in any
Right.
fashion.
And then these are hers.
Yeah. Yeah, Pam said okay. So,
You said 7:15?
yeah, I told her 7:15 and then I texted her